ド。レオレモネード。レオレモネード。 レオレモネード。 レオレモネード。
2019 they did a lot of the improvements.
Lemonade